It's October 2nd, 2025. It's the 275th day of the year, and I've got an update for you on the weather. Let's start off by taking a zoomed out view of our country here and just look at the future. What are going to be the main things that we're talking about over the next couple of days? They're all really very visible right here on this map, okay? We're going to have persistent showers and thunderstorms from Northern California up into Montana, maybe even with some isolated severe storms across the Rockies over the next couple of days. This is a result of some troughing that's trying to dig down into the Pacific Northwest. And notice that little speck of blue right there in Idaho. We're actually going to have our first significant snow of the year in a lot of the high mountains over here between Montana and northern portions of Nevada. Also, point your focus down here towards Florida. We've got a ton of tropical moisture hanging out down here, and it's actually going to start trying to spin. You can see that if I pull this into the future, there's a little bit of a tropical system that tries to form right over the peninsula of Florida, really, and this is going to be a major talking point as we go forward. Beyond that, it's going to be this major, huge area of high pressure that's building over the Midwest, over towards the Great Lakes region. This is going to cause a record-breaking heat wave and persistent heat across a lot of areas east of the Rockies for the foreseeable future, and that's going to, of course, be a major talking point as well. The next big thing that we're going to have to worry about or talk about, I guess, is going to be, when are we going to see a big sweeping cold front come through? When are we going to see the weather pattern change? Whenever that happens, and the current GFS shows this happening potentially around October 8th, we're going to see a major pattern change where we're going to see some cooler air filter into some places that have been warm for a long time. And of course, that transition is going to take place in the form of thunderstorms, potentially even severe thunderstorms. So that's something that we have to think about in the future. All right, so here's where most of the rainfall is happening over the next 7 days. You can see we've got some isolated pockets of interest here. One of those is in the Ohio Valley. One of those is back here between Des Moines and central Kansas. And then another big one is from all of that moisture we were just looking at coming out of the Pacific, going over the Rockies and up into Canada here. But our biggest area of rainfall, and our most concerning area, honestly, is going to be along the coast of Georgia and eastern Florida, thanks to that tropical system that's going to be trying to form over here. Some places will see over 7, maybe even close to 10 inches of rain over the next 7 days. And some of this will occur within a very short period of time. So we have to think about flash flooding potentially around Miami. How about you in Daytona Beach, Jacksonville, Brunswick, Savannah, maybe even up there towards Charleston? We're going to have a little bit too much rain at times, so make sure you're ready for that. And then once again, the big story is going to be the persistent heat wave that we're going to be having for the vast majority of us over the next couple of days through the weekend. It's going to be interesting to see what happens after that. We've got about 6-7 days before we start to see this major fluctuation in the jet stream, and that's going to eventually put a lot of us in a cooler than average pattern. This is what the next 6 to 10 days look like, with the vast majority of us under that above normal outlook from the CPC. And I'm not playing around when I say that this is going to be a heat wave. This is going to be a record-breaking heat wave for a lot of us in the Midwest, especially on Friday into Saturday. We're talking about near 95-degree high temperatures over here on the border between South Dakota and Minnesota. Some places will reach 100 degrees in Nebraska and South Dakota. Once again, this is going to break or at least challenge records set back in the 90s. It's going to feel like July out here on October the daggone 4th. So make sure you are ready for that in the central U.S. especially. The most anomalous temperatures will be right here in South Dakota and Minnesota, but it's going to feel warmer than usual even over here in the Ohio Valley, and it's going to be daggone warm down here in Texas as well. We're going to see a high of 90, for example, in Oklahoma City on Saturday. But watch what happens with our temperature anomalies as I pull the model forward. Once again, our big day is going to be Saturday here, with several places approaching 35 degrees above normal temperatures. That's crazy over here between Minneapolis and central portions of South Dakota. Notice that heat's going to continue to bubble and compile there over time. It's even going to make it up here into Canada, even north of the Great Lakes. I think you guys are going to have some very anomalous temperatures, especially as we approach the October 5th through 6th time frame. And then we've got that big cold front trying to come through. Now, the first attempt at a cold front doesn't look very successful. We're still going to be above normal with our temperatures in the upper Midwest as we get into October 7th. But notice there's another big area of cold air trying to come down from Canada right after that. This one looks like it's going to be the one that sets us free. This is going to be the one that ushers in true fall, but it also might be the one that ushers in some actual severe weather. So we've got to be ready for that. Look at that. 27 degrees below average temperatures down here in the panhandle of Texas, potentially on October 8th around 5 p.m. So that's going to be plumb wild. And then it looks like we're going to be stuck stuck in that pattern for quite some time where we are cooler than average on the East Coast. And once again, just for fun here, we're looking at the snow map, our first significant snowfall of the year over here in Wyoming, Montana, over there into Idaho. We could potentially see 27 inches of snow and some of the high peaks over here in Wyoming. So snow is something that we're going to start talking about again here on the channel. All right, now let's talk about the tropics real quick. First thing we're going to do is say goodbye to Imelda. Hurricane Imelda, still a hurricane right now, but pretty soon it's going to be a tropical storm, potentially even extra tropical as it goes up between Newfoundland and up towards the UK. Right now, it's not looking like much of anything to anyone. It's you can tell that whenever they stop centering the satellite chunk on the center of the storm, you can tell that we're starting to not think about it so much. But it definitely went through Bermuda, caused some problems over there, and now it's getting the heck out of Dodge. But the tropics are not done. There's still some gas left in the tank over here in the tropical Atlantic. Check it out. Once again, we've got a lemon over here in Florida with a 10% chance of some sort of tropical development over the next 2 to 7 days. I don't think that we're going to get a named storm out of this, but we are definitely going to see persistent downpours in Florida, maybe even some gusty winds over the next several days as a result of this. So it's something that we need to keep an eye on. I think our next real tropical system is going to come from this big 20% area in the main development region. So we've got a 20% chance of this turning into our next named storm over the next 7 days out here in the main development region. So let's look at what the GFS is doing with that. So watch that wave come off of Africa. You can see it right here. Keep your eyes on it. As we go into the future, you're going to see that it's going to start rotating. It's going to start turning into more of a traditional looking tropical system, especially as it approaches the Lesser Antilles here, potentially by Friday, October 10th. It looks like it might even turn into a strong system, a named hurricane even, as it approaches the Bahamas. But what happens next? Oh, well, it gets swatted out to sea. It's another fish storm. 2025, the year of the fish storm, huh? If that actually happens, it's going to be pretty crazy. Another strong hurricane going up between the Carolinas and Bermuda again. This is pretty far out. We're currently looking at 350 hours into the future, so this could change. But definitely looks like another potential storm that we're going to be tracking out here in the Atlantic over the next several days. I mean, this is forever away from being a problem, even for the Lesser Antilles. So there's no point in, talking about it too much. But there we go. It's October, right? Some of our strongest hurricanes have happened in October, so we can't let our guards down. There's still some gas out here in the Atlantic, so let's keep an eye on that. And that's pretty much all the weather talk I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you slap a like on this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.